Sup peoples, and welcome back to another video. Wow, it has been forever since I filmed. Like, my mic had dust on it. I know it seems like not that long for you probably, because like I still have videos coming out every Wednesday, but it's actually been like almost a month since I filmed, just because like stuff's been getting in the way. I don't know how to do this anymore. Unfortunately, I guess it's like they're just gonna be weird now. But I figured that since we somehow hit 700 subscribers, thank you so much. We're actually past that at this point. When I finally got around to filming the video, we had already passed it, but like, thank you. We're doing another Q&A, and I figured that I would get ready to film some more videos while we did that Q&A, because multitasking is the only way for me to get anything done now. So first up is how long. Well, you know what, no, like, before we get to questions, I just want to say, like, hi again. Like, it's been forever. What's up with you? Let me know in the comments. How have you been? It's been, like, ages. It feels like I haven't filmed in a month because I haven't really filmed in a month. It's just good to see you again. I feel like I'm so tiny in this screen. Like, the angles are really bad, but I'm trying to just embrace that because this is my warm-up vlog, and then I have some videos to film, like my usual educationally stuff. I'm doing one on character arcs, and I'm doing one on Darth Vader's character. And funny story about the Darth Vader video, I have tried to film it 3 times now. The first time I filmed the whole thing, but then it turned out I didn't have my mic turned on. That was pretty sad. The second time I sat down to film it, but my mic died partway through. The third time I sat down to film it, these were all separate weeks. So I've been trying to film this for like 2 months now. The third time I sat down to film it, my mic wouldn't connect. It turns out that just this little thing was unplugged, but I thought there was like a major problem, so I was like, oh, I can't film anything this weekend. And that was the last time that I tried to film. So now we're trying 4th time. Because, you know, they don't say 3rd time's the charm, they say 4th time's the charm. So hopefully this Darth Vader video finally gets filmed. Because I need some more videos. I'm officially out of pre-recorded stuff. The last video, my 5 editing tips video, was the last one that I had filmed and ready to go. So this video is going out, well, this video was supposed to go out today, the day I'm filming it, which is the day that my 5 editing tips video releases, but I had not filmed it yet and definitely hadn't edited it yet. So, you know, we're just figuring out. Anyway, so that's my catch up. I've been around. I've just been very busy. I don't know. Not making much writing progress. I think I've just been going out a lot more. Like, I went to a convention, my first ever cosplay anime sort of convention-y thing. That was cool. Spent like the day out, and I've just been hanging out with my girlfriend every weekend instead of filming, which, like, no regrets, but I'm very behind. We're doing it on weekdays now. This is a Wednesday, my usual posting day, but now it's gonna be my filming day. Question 1, how long have you been writing? This depends. I'm gonna try and multitask. This really depends on what you count as writing. Like, I would say I've been writing pretty much since I could hold a pencil, because I have always loved stories and I've always worked on little stories, whether they were any good or not. I'd say I only really started writing, like trying to be a professional writer, when I was 16, so about 3 years ago. Oh god, almost 4 years ago now? I'm almost 20. I'm gonna be 20 this year. That's weird. So much for being a teen author. I always thought I'd be a teen author for some reason. I guess because I started writing when I was 16, like legit. But I've been writing since I was super little. It was just only when I was 16 that I really got into it and started like seeing myself get better, notably. I'm garbling this story, so if you want the full story, just check out the video linked up above, whichever side it goes on. Voice cracked. And you can check out the full story, because I actually did a video on this for 500 subscribers. I'm very proud of it. You get to hear excerpts of my previous writing, and I just tried to format it in a fun and engaging and fun, oh, I just said fun twice, funny way. If you want to hear the first book that I ever wrote, Cave of the Creeps, from when I was like 8, I think, that's in there. It's real bad. I think you'll enjoy it. What is the next question? I feel like I always get a when did you start writing question when I do these, and I always just point people back to that other video. So I feel bad that I'm just like, go watch the other video, but honestly, it's a good video. So I haven't yet published my book, but should I start advertising for it? How do I do that now without getting my ideas stolen? I would say it's never too late to, yeah, it can be too late. Well, maybe, no, it's not too late, but let's start this over. It's never too early to start trying to build a following. Even if it's not for your book specifically, you can still advertise yourself as a writer. I mean, that's sort of what I'm doing. This started out as me doing vlogs about my writing. 1, because it's fun. 2, because I wanted to share my experience to help motivate, inspire other people. And 3, because I was hoping I would build a following so that one day when I did need to go and sell my book, there would be people who were interested in it. I mean, less sell, just like read. I just want to share stories. The money is like only because, you know, if I can write more if I make money off my writing. When it comes to your ideas getting stolen, I would be worried about that, especially, like, maybe this is totally made up logic, but in the world of AI, all someone needs is a concept these days. Not that that means they could actually, like, do something with it, but I don't know. It just feels like we need to be extra careful. Maybe that's paranoia, but, you know, better safe than sorry. Should you start advertising even though you're not publishing it? I'd say yes. I think the more time you can spend working up a following and people interested in your story, the better, because when you release your story, you're going to have a lot of other stuff on your mind than just advertising, probably. And you're also going to, you know, have probably already put a lot of time and effort and potentially money into that. So the more of a foundation for your book that you can have built beforehand, the better. I would say that, I mean, this depends the route you want to go. For some people, I've seen their accounts and they will have like just posts about the story they're working on, or vlogs, or whatever it is. However, when I see people doing like Shaylin Writes, for example, is a channel that I follow on Instagram and YouTube. And they do writing tip videos, which is how I found them. But then they also do vlogs. And because I watch so many writing tip videos, I just came to like Shaylin. So then I would watch the vlogs, and through that I heard a lot about her book that she's working on. And now I just want to read that because, like, I've seen that I trust this person's writing advice, so I'm sure that their writing will probably be good. Depending on if you want to do the educational route, like I did or like Shaylin did, that's a personal preference thing, but I think that that could be a good route for advertisement. That way you're more like advertising yourself and your writing, not a specific story. You could also advertise a specific story, just being very careful about what you post and thoughtful about it, and maybe looking into a copyright beforehand. I don't really know too much about that. I don't post very much about my own stories on the internet, and when I do, I give them like a code name and all of that. But I guess what I would suggest is seeing other people that you like and what they're doing, and so long as you feel that it's safe, trying to learn from what they're doing. Because like things that I do on my channel, I have learned from seeing other people's channels, you know, their writing tip videos, their vlogs, and like things like that. Seeing them made me be like, oh, I'm inspired to make my own version of this now. Obviously don't copy people, but like if you're posting about your own story, you wouldn't be copying people. Short answer, never too early to start trying to build a following for your stories. Long answer, very complicated. Look into this and figure out the precise route that you want to go, because you could build a following, especially through social media, in a number of ways that could all somehow lead back to your story. I'm sorry if that was convoluted. It's like something that I've thought a lot about but don't have a definitive answer, because I don't know how much I can share online, because I also don't want to spoil my story. So it's like really hard to post about my story. What's your favorite flavor of ice cream? Let's follow up that big one that I rambled on for about a long time. Oh, actually, this is going to be a long answer too, because I can point you to very specific ice cream flavors. I love this question. I've never gotten just like a casual one like this. It's always like heavy writing stuff. Not like necessarily heavy in like a emotionally way, but like very specific questions. My favorite flavor of ice cream, there are two that I would say are tied. They are both Ben & Jerry's flavors, I think. Is it Ben & Jerry's? I forget what it's called, but I think it's Ben & Jerry's. I don't know the names, but there's one that's like vanilla swirled with caramel and chocolate with like chunks of dark chocolate in it. And then there's one that is chocolate swirled with like marshmallow, and it has, oh, fish food. It's fish food. I don't know the name of the caramel one, but I know that one of them is fish food. They are delicious. I'm such a sucker for chocolate ice cream. It's like my favorite. And then if you can put like caramel or peanut butter or like some sort of swirly extra element in it, just yes, I love that so much. The best thing is when you can mix fish food with that like caramel vanilla one, like half and half, yes. Oh, this is another big one. And this is the last one. There weren't too many this time, so. I mean, it's already a 14-minute video, so. I'm always like, oh, I need like 50 questions to fill these videos, but now I realize I just talk so much that I can actually fill like a 20-minute video with like 4 questions. Which 4 character archetypes do you think blend best with each other and are the easiest to expand in development and character from a writing standpoint? Okay, that's very person-specific. Because different people are better at writing different kinds of characters. For me, I do tend to have a couple character archetypes that I gravitate towards. Oh, shameless self-plug, if you want to hear my thoughts on character archetypes, check out the Bad Batch video, which will be in whichever corner they go into. I actually really love that video. So, character archetypes. I tend to have like the gruff loner type, the nerd, and the like charismatic, friendly, outgoing one. And then for the 4th archetype, I guess I tend to have like the natural born leader. But then I like to like put a spin on each of those. And I just find those the easiest to like expand upon and build. Like in my most recent story that I came up with, which I'm not writing, I just like it was just like a role play based thing. But we have sort of like this super friendly, outgoing, charismatic, flirty character, but who has like a lot of like he's outgoing, but he has a lot of like internalized commitment issues. So like he might be like super like friendly and outgoing, but he finds it really hard to have like more than a surface level friendship with people. And then we have sort of like this, well, I guess I didn't really use the nerd this time, but usually I do. There's almost always a nerd. We have this sort of like quiet, gruff, loner, but I sort of combined that with my classic natural born leader. So he's like this natural born leader character, but who has like this outer gruff shell because of like internalized self-hatred from childhood. Fun stuff. And then we have this other character. Well, the other 2 aren't really like archetypes that I commonly use, so I won't add them to the list right now. But like, I do tend to definitely the gruff loner and the like friendly outgoing one. A lot of times I'll have them be friends, just like for fun. Like there's one who's sort of like loud, and then there's the other one who's like, I don't like anybody. But I think, like I said, it's gonna be like very person specific because different people find it easy to write different characters. I'm not saying this is true, but your character that you find the easiest, your comfort character that you love to write might be like the heart of the group, you know? Like the one who ties them all together, the super glue making sure that this group sticks together. I can barely write that character. I'm so bad at that. I have them and I think that they come off okay, but it's like, it's not easy for me to do that. It's a lot easier for me to write like a gruff, standoffish, pessimistic character who's like always grouchy. And I think that that's just so it's gonna be like a very person-specific thing. My go-to archetypes have also changed. Like during different periods of my writing, you'll see different archetypes show up repeatedly. So I really think it's a personal taste thing, and you just have to experiment with archetypes until you find the one or ones that click for you. And then it's all about just adding layers onto those archetypes, because the more layered and diverse that you can make your characters while still maybe sticking to core archetypes that you find easy or enjoy writing. It doesn't even have to be easy, it just has to be what you enjoy writing. Then I think that will help you. Just basically learn your character archetypes. And maybe they're not even pre-existing character archetypes, you know, like other people might not recognize them, but maybe they repeatedly show up in your stories. So long as it doesn't get like repetitive in a bad way, I think that that's great. I used to really think that character archetypes were bad. It was like a sign of bad writing if you had character archetypes. But now I've sort of realized that it's just a sign of writing. Like the Bad Batch video that I did, I was prepared to talk about like how it's rare that people can do character archetypes right, but I actually read a lot of things about TV tropes while making that video, like lots of articles, and I was like, oh, Character archetypes are sort of the best. I love them. So that's another thing, just like expose yourself to all kinds of archetypes. I didn't know how many there were until I started reading about them. So we are at 22 minutes and I've only just finished answering the questions. However, I did sort of want to do a new segment, which I thought might be fun, where I talk about what I've been reading recently, because I did a reading vlog of Gideon the Ninth, and I plan to do more reading vlogs soon. I just didn't have time last month to do one for the book I read. But I still wanted to sort of talk about books because I've been reading a lot more recently. I sort of like didn't read that much last year, but this year I've read a lot. Don't mind this. This is a normal and casual thing. Well, it is in my house. I have a little stack of books that I'm about to read, the books that I'm going to be reading next, so I thought we could talk about those. First up, I did not know, but the final Amulet book came out, and I'm very excited to read that. I started reading it the other night, however I realized it's been so long since I read the series that I actually don't really know what's going on at this point, so I'm going to reread all of those. I'm thinking I might do an Amulet reading vlog, because that way, since I have them all now, I could do like a full read and review, and especially because I can read like a graphic novel like this in a sitting. So I could probably knock that out. I got the next Black Science, which is another comic series that I'm reading. Again, it's been a little bit, so I need to reread the other 3 books that I have before I read this one. Oh no, the other 2. This is volume 3. So that's the only reason I haven't read it yet. I actually got this for Christmas. I got this when I went out to the convention. We were walking by and my mom and dad just pointed out a comic store because they're the best. And we're like, let's go in there after we eat. And I love them. And then for Christmas, my grandparents got me this. I have no idea what this is, but it is gigantic. And my dad says he thinks I will like it. It's by a writer that I have read works by, Jeff Lemire. If I'm mispronouncing that, I'm sorry, but I'm pretty sure. Yes, he also did Descender and Ascender, which I did like, so that's why I think they got me this one. So I have not read this. This is the first one, and these are 2 series that I'm continuing. And that is what is next on my reading list. As well as Nona the Ninth, which just arrived, but I do not have that just yet. So that brings me to what I have been reading, what I've already read. Obviously, I haven't been vlogging and doing videos long enough to have talked about everything I've ever read, but I figured I would just tell you what I've read in 2024. So here is that. A lot of these, all the comic books pretty much I got for Christmas. It's been a tradition for years now that I get a stack of comic books on Christmas, and it's one of my favorite things to open. And my favorite thing that I got from that this year was Saga, the new Saga. I absolutely love these books. They're so good. I could not recommend them more. You should check the age rating and the trigger warnings before reading them, just because they can be pretty intense, and they are 18 plus. But these are the books that made me want to become a writer. So yes, technically I did read them when I was 16, but it's fine. So good. Like, I can't wait for the new ones, like the next set. I feel like they come out so slowly, but I'm also used to reading series like that are old, so I could buy them all in one fell swoop. I've never really read a current ongoing series until Saga. Next review, must read, so good. It's like a sci-fi epic, found family, it's just so good. Next, I read Giant Days, my comfort story. I will admit, elements of, like the last story in this one, there's usually like little self-contained stories within the overarching story. The last little self-contained story in this one was pretty weird. I'll be totally honest. There were ostriches and like, it got weird, but all in all, still like a comfort story that I will always love. This is like a in real life set in the, it's like a contemporary, there we go, that's the word I'm looking for, dramedy about college students in the UK. And it's really good. It's really funny. The art's awesome. They've had many different talented artists work on it over the years. The rating's great. It's just like, it's my comfort story at this point. I can devour one of these in a single sitting. Next, I started a new series. I got the first one. I actually found this series because I found the artist Casual Teen Titans series on Instagram. I was like, I love this art. And then I was like, oh, there are graphic novels of it. I must buy them. I don't really read superhero. I don't really read superhero stuff, but I kept seeing Teen Titans in my feed because I liked a bunch of the artists' casual Teen Titans posts, so then it was just everywhere in my feed. I decided, you know what, I liked Miss Marvel. Here's an origin story. Because that's always the problem for me. It's like superhero stories have been going on for so long at this point, most of them, that I don't know how to get into them. It like feels like I'd be so out of the loop if I just picked up whatever the most recent issue is. So when I heard that these were like the origin stories and sort of like told their own thing, I was like, oh, okay, that's like a digestible way to get into Teen Titans lore. So first is Raven. It was not my favorite book I've ever read, but it was good. And then when I was at that comic book shop that I mentioned, I saw the next one, Beast Boy. I liked this one a little bit more. I don't know, maybe just like a little bit more thematically interesting to me. I will say though that of all the ways to get superpowers, green monkey antibodies is up there with some of the weirdest ones. Like the weirdest superheroes get their powers in the weirdest ways. They're both cool powers though, both cool powers, and I'm really looking forward to the next one, which is, I'll be honest, a big part of why I wanted to read the series, which is Beast Boy Loves Raven, because I saw their adorable like casual Teen Titans couples photos and art on Instagram, and I was just like, I need this in my life. So probably the most excited for the next one, because now that I have these two separately, I can have them together. Okay, anyway, I read that. Then I'd already read this last year, but at the comic book shop, I dropped so much money at that shop, guys, like it's not even funny. I got this. I'd never read a webcomic until Heartstopper. It blew my mind. I'm still reading it to this day. And this is the first time that I actually got like a graphic novel of it so that I could reread it in my house and in my hands whenever I wanted. At first I was like, is this a waste of money because I've already read it? It was not a waste of money. It is so good and I cannot wait to get the others. I didn't realize how much I had forgotten in the time because it's like such a big story. Like at the end of this, well, no spoilers, but this is so good. It's so like the art is so cute and I just love it. It's such a good story. And it inspired me to try contemporary and romance because I'd never really read a romance I liked before. I'd seen them in the stories that were like fantasy or sci-fi, but I'd never really read a romance that I enjoyed this much because, look, no shame to people who like a hot and spicy romance, but it's just not really my thing. I've never really been into that. I'm not that interested in it. But this was such like a cozy and wholesome and sweet romance. It had more like wholesome, cozy vibes than like hot, spicy vibes, and I'd never really experienced that in a romance before. It's really good. I could not recommend this more, and the Netflix adaptation is also amazing. So can't wait to buy the next one of these. And that leads me to the next thing that I read. We are now done with the graphic novels and comics, and we're on to the books. Because I love Heartstopper so much, I decided to buy Solitaire. And when I tell you this book is a roller coaster of emotions, I am not kidding. Like, I get very affected by stories. I'm a writer and I happen to be obsessed with stories. And when I was reading this, I am not kidding you when I say, oh, my battery's about to die on this mic, so I better hurry. I am not kidding you when I say it felt like I was in a fever dream the whole time I was reading this book. Like sometimes I would be so sad all day just because something sad happened in this book. And sometimes I'd be so happy because something happy happened. I have like I wrote an article about it that I'm going to be posting on my Instagram. And over here, like a book recommendation in the community tab. So if you're not subscribed, you should subscribe. But this is my 700 subscriber Q&A, so I don't see why you wouldn't be subscribed. It's really good. It's less about the plot and more about the feeling to me. So it's hard to talk about it because it was just like a feeling that it gave me. It's like a feeling in a book. Definitely check trigger warnings though before you read this because like there's some heavy stuff in it. But it starts with trigger warnings, so there's a lot of heavy themes and stuff talked about in this book, but it's very good. I don't ever remember not being serious. As far as I'm concerned, I came out of the womb spouting cynicism and wishing for rain. My name is Tori Spring. I like to sleep and I like to blog. Last year I had friends. Things were very different, I guess, but that's all over now. Now there's Solitaire and Michael Holden. I don't know what Solitaire are trying to do. And I don't care about Michael Holden. I really don't. I also love this as this is not a love story on the front. It's just, I also specifically wanted this cover because I love the art and I love the color. Anyway, final set of books. I know I mentioned that I'm about to read Nona the Ninth, and that is because I read Gideon the Ninth and Harrow the Ninth. They're great. I loved Gideon the Ninth. It's like 5 out of 5 stars. One of my new favorite books of all time. Amazing. So good. I have a reading vlog if you want to hear my complete thoughts on it. It is like a sci-fi fantasy story. The characters are amazing, gothic horror vibes. And then Harrow the Ninth, I will also give 5 stars. This writer writes great characters. So pretty much as soon as I got to know the characters in each of these stories, like the new characters that were introduced, I was just like, I'm all in. Also, the foreshadowing in this book, partway through I had this like moment, and it's not often that that happens. So now I'm looking forward to reading Nona the Ninth. Okay, that's everything I've read in 2024 so far. And my mic is about to... You know how in the beginning of this video I said that I've been trying to film a Darth Vader video for 3 weeks or more? I've tried to film it 3 times. Well, here's my mic dying, so I won't be able to film it again. I will have to go plug this in quickly if I want to film that video still today. So I guess this is goodbye for now. Let me know how you have been. Let me know how your writing project is going. Let me know what it is. I hear so much about like what draft people are on, but never like what the draft is about. I want to hear your ideas, not to steal them, just because they're fascinating, and I love hearing about your stories so that one day I can read them. Also, let me know what you're reading right now, because I'm getting really into books again. Like, I stopped reading novels for the longest time, and now I realized, why did I do that? Oh, wait. Wait, before my mic dies, I have to do something else important. For Valentine's Day, my girlfriend got me my first Funko Pop. This was very sweet of her. It's my favorite Star Wars character. I love him so much. It was an amazing present. However, I had actually been intentionally not buying Funko Pops because I knew that the moment I got a Funko Pop, I would have to buy them all because I'm that kind of completionist, perfectionist collector. Look, you can see a spoiler for where the story is going. And so when I was at the comic shop, I was faced with a choice. There was a Fennec Shand. You already know where this ends, but you know, there's a Fennec Shand Funko Pop sitting on a shelf. It was the last one there. And I told myself, if you buy this one, tech is no longer a one-off gift. You're starting a collection. You shouldn't do it. But look, guys, isn't she awesome? Isn't she the best? I love her. So yeah, now I'm a Funko Pop collector. I organized a list by going through every single Funko Pop ever created that's Star Wars themed, and there's pages and pages of them that I want, and I've started tracking them down, and I bought 4 the other weekend. So one of them was for my sister because she wanted to get one signed. 3 of them were for me because I have a problem. But I thought if you want, you can see how my Funko Pop collection goes in future. It's like a problem I have now. So I just wanted to share because this happened at the same time as all of this reading. Because, you know, I went to a comic book shop, got a Fennec and some comics, and the tech was just the beginning of that. I'm gonna plug my mic in. You let me know what you're reading right now, or the last thing you read, or what you want to read next, or whatever. I need book recommendations, all in the comments. Also, let me know what you're working on and how it's going, because I want to hear about that. Sorry, I sound like I'm yelling at you. I'm just asking. And thank you for watching. I've been filming for 42 minutes, which is pretty crazy if you think about the fact that I answered 5 questions and showed you some books. Goodness, I can talk. Okay. I will see you on the next page before my mic dies. Toodaloo. No, I'm not ending it by saying toodaloo. I will see you on the next page. Till then.